In spite of his denials, it was clear that America's system for keeping presidential power in check had worked. Nixon's resignation was unprecedented. The first time that an American president had not served out his full term of office for any reason other than death. But presidential investigations have occurred throughout American history. In 1998, an investigation of President Clinton, in which I myself participated, resulted in Clinton's impeachment for lying about an extramarital affair, although he remained in office. Each investigation, however, feels new to us, perhaps because each seems to test new aspects of executive power and the nation's willingness to limit it. As of the date of this lecture, a new investigation is underway, this one of President Donald Trump, and the possibility that his election campaign colluded with the Russian government in its efforts to influence the outcome of the 2016 election. We can't know at this juncture what the investigation's result will be. But once again, our system is being put to the test, perhaps all the more so because our national politics and social discourse have become so extraordinarily polarized. That's why I believe that now is an important time to consider carefully whether systems that we have established for investigating presidents are up to the task. It's especially important to consider this question in a climate of sharp political division, because it is all too tempting for both politicians and ordinary citizens to approach an investigation with an attitude of my party, right or wrong. But the thesis of this course is different. My view is that there is a body of history and law and policy that can and should guide the response of the body politic. Any citizen who wants to have a dispassionate view of issues relating to presidential power and the misuse of that power ought, in all fairness, to try to situate his or her opinions within the context of our system of governance. Perhaps that's overly optimistic, to think that there's more than mere politics to the idea of presidential authority and abuse. Indeed, if you hold a Manichaean view, this course is probably not for you. In reality, though, lying behind the patina of political dispute, there is a series of institutions and laws that guide and govern our response. Over the past 240 years, we have developed systems for the restraint of power. And time and again, they've been a bulwark for the nation. We can see that there are more common themes about presidential authority across American history than there are divergences. And the structure of our government gives America the architecture for how to deal with allegations of presidential misconduct. In short, the idea behind this lecture series is that the investigation of presidential misconduct can and should be guided by history, law, and policy. And make no mistake, the question of constraining power is of critical importance to the functioning of democratic institutions. With great power comes great responsibility. But our nation's founders knew very well that not all power is used in a responsible manner. Before we can examine the effectiveness of presidential investigations, therefore, we need to begin our consideration with an examination of the nature and extent of presidential power. The American presidency is truly a unique institution on the world stage. No other position of power is quite like it, and the majestic terror of the job has been apparent to all who have held it. Consider how George Washington expressed his concerns in his first inaugural address delivered to the members of Congress in April 1789. Quote, "Among the vicissitudes incident to life, no event could have filled me with greater anxieties than that of which the notification was transmitted by your order and received on the 14th day of the present month. On the one hand, I was summoned by my country, whose voice I can never hear but with veneration and love.